everyone, welcome on back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a analyzing my locks, and I haven't done one of these in a really long time. I think the last one I did I was about 23 months locked. Right now I am currently 30 months locked. So of course I do these just to see where my locks are on my lock journey, how they currently are acting, and just their overall health and how they're doing currently on my lock journey. So I'm going to get a bit closer so we can take a closer look. So like I said before, I am currently 30 months locked, and I've said this in previous videos that I've been kind of looking at the ends of my locks and noticing, thinning, and certain locks had certain little balls at the end that I was like, I don't like these, I don't know why they're here, which some of you have let me know that that's just part of the locking process, and that sometimes they just form those types of balls at the end. But I noticed that it was only on some of them and not the majority of my locks, so I did cut them off. And so I do have some locks that do have some loose ends now, which is fine with me. Like this one now has a curly end at the end of it because it's one of the ones that I've cut. And they're mostly here in the front area is where I did some of my trimming or dusting, if you want to call it, I guess. But also I've been noticing the ends of certain locks are thinning out, and I don't know what's that about. And like this lock in particular, it's like it's locked here and it's doing well here, and then in the middle right here it's see-through. Now I don't know if you can even see that. It's probably not even that visible, but it's see-through right here in this little area, like right here, and it's like that weak point there, and then the rest of the lock is fine going forward. So I don't know what's happening here. It's like that part is not even locked at all, which is letting me know that of course my locks are not fully locked, which I didn't expect them to be at 2.5 years. But I'm noticing that the ends are going through something. Like I said, I noticed they started to thin, and this one is thinning further up than I was noticing on the other ones. The other ones were thinning like near the end, closer to the end, but this one's a little further up than the rest of them that I've noticed. So I didn't cut this one, but I am tempted to, snip it off like right there where the weak point is. But I'm gonna try to just leave it and see what happens with it, because I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna fall off eventually, because it's literally being held on by maybe 5 strands or 10 strands, maybe, but we'll see what happens with it. And like I said, I just noticed that in the front area. I really haven't been noticing the thinning like that in the back anywhere. So for instance, this is one of my newer locks, and of course it's thin at the end here because this was part of my edges, which I've spoken about the issues I've had with my edges in previous videos. But see how that's thinning there, and this looks like it's about to break off, but I'm just gonna leave it as is. But I just believe this is just going through the locking process. I don't think there's any issue here. And when I started this lock, my edges were pretty thinned out at that point, And now I feel like they're thickening up because you can see the lock is now progressing and starting to thicken up as it goes up the shaft of the hair. So I just been noticing things like that with my ends. So like I said, I did some dusting, which probably wasn't what I should have done. Overall look of my locks to look a bit better. And that's what I felt like worked for me, to just cut off those ends that really just didn't look like they were, you know, doing much of anything for my lock at that point to me. Now, I've told you before, I've been combining my locks, which I have throughout, you know, the journey that I've been going through. I've combined, I don't even know how many locks I've combined, but I've combined maybe 10 or less, maybe. I don't think I've reached 10, but maybe I'm close to 7, I want to say. But this is a lock here that I've combined, and I just noticed that this lock is like unraveling, and I don't know why it's unraveling, because it was locked for a while, because I feel like I locked these two locks together, like crocheted them together, so to speak, like at the beginning of my journey. As you can see, it's like way at the end where they are combined. So I don't know, there's just a space here now with these two. Easily just, you know, crochet them back together. This is how they have been growing together. They're not, this lock isn't that thick to be a lock that was combined with two locks. That just goes to show you how thin they were separately. But now that I put them together, they're actually doing pretty well together. So I just been noticing stuff like that at the ends of my hair. I haven't been, you know, touching this lock or doing anything to this lock, so I don't know what happened to it, why it decided to detach itself right there in that area. I just kind of leave it as is for now. I could go back in and try to crochet it back together, but it's pretty combined everywhere else throughout the rest of the lock. It's not unraveling at any other point except for right there. So I may just leave it as is, because there is a lock here in the front area. No, where this lock is? Oh, here it is. This lock here has two ends that I did not combine together, and I left, you know, just free to do their own thing. But this is the point where I combine them here, and this is how they have been progressing together. Again, you know, I could crochet these two together, but I just decided to leave these two out and about because it's not really bothering or doing anything detrimental. So I may just leave that back one alone, just like I left this one alone to do its own thing. So things like that have been happening with my locks, and I'm guessing it's because of the aging of my locks. I know my locks are colored, but I don't think it's a color issue. It may or not be, I don't know, but it's just me noticing that that's happening. Or I don't know if it's a styling issue of why some of them are doing that, or maybe they're just continuing the process of, you know, locking and, you know, going through the mature process, and that's just what's to be expected. So that's what's been going on with my hair so far. And also, since I have reached shoulder length, I've been noticing a lot more lint, and the lint is collecting a lot at the ends of my locks. So I noticed that I have to brush, you know, the tips of my locks, I want to say, is where they're picking up a lot of lint, you know, dust, things like that. Because of course they rest on the top of my clothing. So I feel like that attracts even more lint that they're just brushing up against it constantly all day long. So that's why sometimes when I pick them up, I see like the ends of them having lint balls connected to them that I have to go through and brush and kind of not really pick at and, you know, cause any damage, but I do pick at it and kind of pull out the lint that's like balled up at the tips of my locks. Everything else has been pretty good. My newer locks are doing very well. There are these here in the front areas. Those, and I did show you this one on this side. These locks are doing really good. They're growing out without any issues. They still don't have any weight to them, of course, so they just kind of hang here freely up and out of place from, of course, the other ones that are now weighty and, you know, have a bit more weight to them. So I do have to, you know, tuck them in if I'm doing certain styles, or even when I do wear my hair down, I just have to cover them with the heavier Locs to kind of keep them down, because you see they kind of just stick up on their own if I don't do that. And as far as my section that was giving me issues with the growing away from my locks, which is usually the top part of my hair, still having issues with that, as you can see. But I noticed that it's not as bad in certain areas anymore, and I would have to say that has to do with these two locks that were thinning at one point in my journey. These two locks, I feel like they're trained at this point, because the separating or the hair growing away from them doesn't happen as often as it used to. It used to happen every month, you know, without fail, and now I feel like it happens every once in a while. And if it does happen, it's not that much hair anymore. But I'm still having the separating here with these locks over here. On the side, they're not trained like the other ones yet, but I feel like eventually they will be. And these hairs won't be so, there won't be so much hair separating from them eventually. My locks have been doing pretty well. They're growing out really fast. I still feel like I'm getting a lot of growth. Remember, I colored my hair. I did my color over, no, I retouched my color in November when I was, you know, trying to do a photo shoot for my birthday. So this is how much my color has grown out since then. About an inch or so, and we are in February. Also, as you can see, I've been trying out the middle part, and I don't hate it. I think I love it mostly when my hair is in a braid out. I really like the way it looks with my braid outs at this point in my journey. But I don't know. I still love me a good side part. So I feel like the side part is always going to be my go-to. But for the last couple months, I have been trying out the middle part to see how I like it, because my bangs have gotten so long. They have grown out so much, and my hair in general has grown out so much, and I feel like you can see my layers a lot more now. So that is pretty much it for me analyzing my locks at 30 months. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye guys.